voters' rights rally at the State House, and we got to hear Reverend Jesse Jackson speak, but I'm sure my speech won't be as good, but I'll give it a shot. So Coyote opposes the new rule that the General Assembly will no longer allow for testimony by phone, and we join in solidarity with Rhode Island Rights in addressing this. Coyote also supports the Equality and Abortion Coverage Act, the medical assistance for pregnant people, enrollment and insurance for pregnant people, and contraceptive access without barriers. Just like sex work, abortion will continue to take place. The question is, under what condition will it take place under?
Yes. Okay.
We want to thank Senator Cynthia Mendez today for sponsoring our decriminalization of sex worker bill and expanding eligibility for expungement of related criminal records. In 2009, Rhode Island legislatures claimed that they had to criminalize all sex work to address human trafficking, and while sex trafficking is a scourge, the efforts to eradicate it are to be appalled. However, conflating sex work with trafficking does nothing to help trafficking victims while consenting adults are pursued and arrested.
I'll hold it.
Hold on, I get it. Okay. Criminalization actually fuels trafficking because those who are victims of violence and exploitation cannot come forward without risking being arrested and having their names and photos run on the local news. Since the passing of the 2009 law that criminalized sex workers, there have been many instances of law enforcement demonstrate the extremely harmful effect of the law on primary women. Every so often, a street sting is conducted by local law enforcement. These stings receive some media attention, but ultimately have no lasting effect, other than embarrassing and penalizing consenting adults for engaging in sexual conduct for fees. In fact, by humiliating and charging clients for seeking consensual sex, and by giving sex workers arrest records and the names of helping them, the law's major effect is just to make the lives of sex workers much more difficult and dangerous. Out of all the reports arrested between 2015 and 2018 for engaging in sex work, 23.6% were black. In 2019, 31% of those arrested were black and Asian. Criminalization also allows ICE and Homeland to come to our communities to conduct racist spa raids, which sometimes leads to migrant women being deported. Coyote has filed dozens of APRA and FICO requests for state and federal trafficking cases for the last 20 years. There have been very few victims. The majority of them are minors who engaged in survival sex because DCYF has failed to provide them safe homes. In fact, many of them were pimped out by a group home supervisor. It's time the government get out of the business of policing bodies and poor women and provide adequate services to our youth. Now I want to tell you a little story about the trials of Nina Mccullen. If you Google it, a New York Times article will come out. In 1920, under the guise of protecting military men, gonorrhea and syphilis were a big deal. We didn't have antibiotics. And if you sent your 10-year-old girl to the store to get a gallon of milk, a health inspector could grab her off the street and probe her vagina and claim she had a disease and lock her up and treat her with mercury and arsenic. So I want you to think about, let that sink in. That was under public health and safety. And look how many people refused to wear a mask in the last couple of years before we had vaccines. But I want to talk about one more thing. Affordable housing and mental health crisis. We know the #1 cause of mental health is homelessness. So now we have a bunch of bills that want to create facilities for these people, other institutes that are similar to prisons that will cost outrageous amounts of money because the government refuses to house the homeless and poor people. That's all I got. Thank you so much. Who's next?
Woo! Woo! Thank you.
All right, can you hear me? Oh, so true. Hello, everybody. I'm Daria Mccullen. I'm a board member of the Women Project Education Fund, and I have a quick call to action to say to you guys right now. Right now, Rhode Island is banning health coverage for abortion for low-income people who use Medicaid. This is harmful and discriminatory. Volunteers are passing out flyers to help folks who want to take action. We need to contact House Speaker Joe Shekarchi and Senate President Dominic Ruggiero to make it clear to them that abortion bans are harmful and they deny access to health care. We need to urge the leadership to make sure there is a floor vote in their chambers this year. We need to pass the Equality and Abortion Coverage Act in 2022. No more waiting.
This year.
This year! This year! This year! Thank you.
Woo!
All right, thank you, Daria. We have another speaker who is ready to take the floor, and that's going to be
Gregory, you're up.
who?
Amnesty International.
That is going to be Amnesty International. Gregory from Amnesty International. is gonna
Yes!
speak. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Do you want help? Hold this.
No, I got it.
Yell.
Thanks so much.
Hey, can you hear us in there? We're out here. Where are you? We've been waiting. Amnesty International is a human rights organization. We've been working across the world for over 70 years. We show solidarity with people who are in prison because of their conscience and what they do. I hate being an Amnesty International in the U.S., in Rhode Island, in Providence, in 2022. We're asking for human rights in America, in the state of Rhode Island, in 2022. Why do we have to be out here begging you? Why are we outside like dogs begging for human rights? Amnesty International is going to be supporting a lot of organizations. We don't have any faith in our elected leaders. We've been out here for what, hours? Has anybody come outside? Has anybody come outside of the building?
No!
Why? Amnesty International is a liberal organization. They really believe in the power of the state. I'll tell you straight up, I don't. So when I talk to you about what Amnesty International Local 1016 is fighting for, I'm talking to you as a member of their organization. I'm also going to plug organizations that do direct aid, direct action. Amnesty International believes very strongly that you all in the General Assembly can do something for racial justice this year. But if you don't, we're going to do it ourselves. Housing justice is racial justice.
Housing justice is racial justice!
If you don't protect our renters, our tenants, and our homeowners, we will. I'm urging anybody who wants to protect racial justice through housing justice, connect with DARE. Direct action for rights and equality. They don't wait for the people in this building to do what we know they're not going to.
Louder. They can hear us. Go.
We have never sat by and begged for scraps at DARE. We go and do it. We defend against eviction. We take food to streets that have suffered violence. We write letters to people behind the walls. And you can help us. Come down to Lockwood any day of the week. Ask for Terry. Ask for Chris. You'll be plugged in and you'll be helping. Unlike some of our electeds. You can also talk to Tenant Network of Rhode Island about how you can join together with your fellow tenants, unionize, create a renters association. We are stronger together, and it is only together with the strength of each other, side by side, that we can take on the banks circling like sharks in a pre-foreclosure situation, looking to close down mom and pop landlords and landladies to take their property and make money off of misery, human misery. Lots of people came here last year asking you, electeds, to do something about foreclosures and evictions. Y'all didn't. So I'm telling you, make a union with your renters. Environmental racism. Y'all heard of People's Port Authority?
Yes.
Y'all heard of People's Port Authority?
Yes.
Let me hear you louder. Y'all heard of Sunrise?
Yes.
Oh, we're coming to your houses next. We're out here today like dogs, but we're coming to your houses. I urge anybody who wants to battle environmental racism to join with the good people in People's Port Authority, with Carrie, with Sunrise. Maybe even flirt with starting the first chapter locally of Extinction Rebellion. We're not going to sit down and watch this world burn with communities of color first as the tinder for y'all capitalist pigs. Equitable health care outcomes. That's racism. Y'all heard of Rhode Island Hospital?
Yes.
Y'all heard of Lifespan?
Yes.
Y'all heard of Care New England?
Yes.
We need anti-racism now more than ever.
Yes.
These are profitable businesses, and their profits come at the expense of the health, well-being, and care in our communities of color. I'm urging everybody to call up Queer Trans Mutual Aid of Rhode Island. Donate some money.
Yes.
Y'all have coffee out, you can spare a 10 spot a week. Donate $40, $50, $100 today. I'm urging anybody to join with Sista Fire. Sista Fire is lighting Rhode Island on fire, leading the way for the women and people with reproductive health concerns of Rhode Island from communities of color. And they're getting it done. They need your help. And any drop of energy that you put in these organizations is going to get more back. Look at me. We're out here with a megaphone. Still nobody come out. Still nobody has come out. I'm like a dog. I'm just begging for human rights out here. The school to prison pipeline is going to end. What year? This year.
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 Now, I see Bella Stoppin saying last year. The school to prison pipeline is alive and well. Unfortunately, we can help the Providence Student Union. We can help Prism Fam to fight the injustices. We're going to get SROs out of school. We're going to rescue that money. We're going to put it to work hiring ELL and MLL teachers. I know it. We're going to have counselors, not cops, but not without y'all. Let's get to work, because these people are inside. And they ain't out here. There's racial bias in policing. Y'all heard of John Brown?
Yes.
John Brown died to abolish slavery. The institution of police was around at the exact same time. Why do we have police? We don't have plantations in the name of Rhode Island. We don't have slavery as an institution. Why do we have an institution that was brought about to enforce the indentured servitude of human beings? It's got to stop. Take a look at your local John Brown gun club. Take a look at your abolitionist movements. Do some research for anti-fascist groups in your area. You can look them up. You can ask your neighbors. I won't tell you who they are here because I don't know any of them. It ain't me. But you can help us. Cop Watch. Create community defense. Get your phone out when you see somebody pulled over. It's really easy to be an abolitionist. We can do this. In what year? 2022. What year?
2022.
This year.
This year.
Y'all gonna come out yet? All I hear is crickets out here, people. Amnesty International wants you to help classism, end the war on the poor. We have a local people's campaign, a local poor people's campaign. You can go down to George Wiley Center in Pawtucket. You can help keep the lights on for people who are experiencing economic instability. You can show solidarity with the unstably housed by cooking food and giving it to unhoused people. Anybody who's hungry. Food Not Bombs, Mutual Aid and PVD. There are other groups that are serving regularly down in Kennedy Plaza. You can take food down to Emmanuel House and serve the men and women down there. You can do anything. Just do it direct. Because begging these people does nothing. We need direct aid. We need direct action. Sexism is going to end this year. I know you're going to hear a lot about how we're ending sexism. Abortion is a right. It should not be denied to anybody because of their class, their economic position, or their financial instability. That's wrong. It's a human right. We're not going to have it in our state in 2022. Ableism. What's up with the open access to our meetings? Turn it back on. Give us our Zoom meetings back. We don't want to come down here and hang out with y'all all night long. We want to get a call, just like we did last year. You can call us up. We'll tell you a peace of mind. You can take our name and number down. We can talk about it later. Don't be ableist. You can act directly by calling the governor. I'll give you his number. Just DM me, okay? He doesn't pick up, but he listens to the messages. He loves us calling. He really wants us calling. It was his only complaint when we sat down. He said, not enough people call me. So, the last direct action to fight ableism, call Governor Dan.
They said we're not loud enough.
We're not loud enough out here.
No, in general. The movement's...
We're going to be so loud this year. We're going to get gender and sexual equality. We're going to end all of these isms. The last thing that we're going to do, Amnesty International wants to melt ICE. We need to abolish the police. We need to start with the Gestapo. We hear a lot about Nazis in the news. How about the Gestapo of ICE? We're going to melt it. Department of Homeland Security and FEMA were brought up. All of us in 2001 said, this sounds like the secret police, and now what do we see? We see an unaccountable police force doing raids that Joe Biden has not authorized. They're spending money that he did not authorize. They are not accountable to anybody. And I'm telling you all in the building, if you think we're going to wait for you to shut down the Wyatt, you got another thing coming. My friends are closing it down in 2022. There ain't going to be another ICE facility in Warwick in 2022. We're not waiting for you. We're through waiting for scraps. These are human rights. This is not what we begged for. Where are you? Nope, still nothing. Amnesty International Local 1016 loves you doing direct action. They really want me to tell you to please consider your COVID risk when going out in public and banding together with your fellows. There's a lot to do, and I know if we do it together out here, instead of waiting for them in there to make meaningless concessions, we're going to get it done. In what year?
This year!
In what year do we get human rights in Rhode Island? This year. This year.
This year! This year!
Woo! Okay, we love you all. We're going to pass the torch on. Thank you so much to my Confederates. This is our brand. We're going to rescue everyone.
Here's the spot. Love to hit a mark.
Hello everyone here. Hello everyone on the internet. Hello everyone in our State House building. My name is Emily Boucher and I am here making remarks in support of S2216. S2216. Bill S2216 would begin the process to amend the Constitution to allow the same-day voter registration. As we look at ways to improve access to the ballot, we must look at how restricting voter registration impedes our ability to vote. Same-day registration allows people to register and vote on the same day. It is particularly useful to people who have not interacted with government agencies or whose information has changed since they last did so. Seems pretty relevant to most people, wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you think that that would be helpful for folks that are trying to get involved with government for the first time?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think that would make sense in terms of making our government accessible to the people?
Yes.
My goodness, we love common sense. And because it allows eligible people to vote, even if their names are not already on the voter rolls, same-day registration safeguards against improper purges, registration system errors, and cybersecurity attacks. Same-day registration has been used successfully in several the 1970s. Today, more than 20 states and the District of Columbia have passed some form of same-day registration, either on Election Day, during early voting, or both. This common sense policy has been shown to boost voter turnout by 5 to 7%. Everyone should matter. Everyone should have a voice. Those 5 to 7% are people. They are our neighbors. They are potentially you. These people are particularly seen among communities who are often denied equal access to the systems that impact their lives, our lives, the lives of humans that matter and that deserve a voice in our government. Black and Latin turnout is between 2 and 17% points higher in states with same-day registration compared to similar states without it. This matters. It is also worth noting that more than 60% of Americans support making this policy that works and has broad support. Same-day voter registration in combination with early voting and expanded mail-in ballot access would ensure that no eligible voter is left out of our democratic process. It is time to bring these proven reforms to our state here in Rhode Island. Ensuring that we all have a voice in the system and are able to cast our ballot is intrinsically linked to every other issue that we care about. We need to make voting work for everyone. Without it working for everyone, it works for no one. Thanks, I improv that one. This legislation is an important move forward. We urge you to support S2216. It needs to happen. Thank you very much.
All right.
Today would have been Ruth Bader Ginsburg's 89th birthday. Being here today to call for justice seems like a pretty fitting way to celebrate. As our volunteer leader, Brenda Cotnor, said earlier, from winning several landmark gender equality cases in the 70s to defending women's rights on the Supreme Court, RBG dedicated her life to fighting for women, social equality, and justice. Her spirit lives on, and we will never stop fighting for justice.
Thank you so much, Harshita. And now I am very, very pleased to introduce Jen Douglas from the Women's Caucus.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen Douglas from the Women's Caucus. What we do in the caucus is work really hard to ensure equitable power in the structures around us. And 55 of our endorsed candidates won their elections last time. So we should have equitable power structures. And unfortunately, that does not seem to be equitable on the outside of this building. One thing that we have seen over the past 2 years is what we need does not translate to what we get. And I didn't even write anything down today because I've run out of words. I've run out of things to write because I have been writing for years. I've been begging you to listen to us for years. I've done everything I can possibly do. I've put my life on hold. I've sat for hours in your hallways. I've sat for hours outside your doors. I've run for office for years. I've done everything I possibly can. I've asked nicely. I've asked not so nicely. I've written letters, I've begged, I've cried, I've bled, I've sweat, I've frozen in your basement. We've asked in groups, we've asked singularly, we've put together committees and meetings, and we've all given hours and hours of our lives just asking for a little bit of equity. And I remember after we finally codified Roe v. Wade here in Rhode Island, Jocelyn turning to me and saying, well, we did something, but it's not just about white women getting the ability to have abortions. We have a lot more to do. And that's what this is all about. We need to have access. It's not just about the ability to get an abortion, it's about the ability for people to access reproductive care when they need it, as they need it, without having to jump through hoops to get it. And our state employees need it, our Medicaid patients need it, and our most marginalized groups need it. And it's time to stop putting up walls, stop putting up barriers, and stop making people beg for what they need. One thing that COVID has done is really highlighted the fact that our most marginalized people in this state have been forgotten about for far too long. And we're tired of begging, we're tired of asking, now we're demanding. And please listen to us. Do something kind. Do something that will make us trust you, that will make us honor you, that will make us work together for a better Rhode Island. Give something back to the people that they need. We need you to give us more. We need you to honor us as humans, as your fellow Rhode Islanders. We need you to treat us as people who have elected you, who have trusted you with our health and our happiness and with our hope. So if you could do that, it would go a long way to repairing a lot of the barriers that you have put up between us and you behind this building. Thank you.
Woo!
All right, I'm back with another quick call to action because we need to what? Act today to protect tomorrow. Yeah. We are watching in horrors as states around the country are banning abortion. But the fact is that right here in Rhode Island, we have long-standing policies that take away health coverage for abortion for state employees and low-income people who use Medicaid. This is harmful and discriminatory. Volunteers are passing out flyers to help folks who want to take action. We need to contact House Speaker Joe Shekarchi and Senate President Dominic Ruggiero to make it clear to them that abortion bans are harmful and they deny access to health care. We need to urge the leadership to make sure there is a floor vote in their chambers this year. What year? This year! What year? This year! This year! We need to pass the Equality in Abortion Coverage Act in 2022. No more waiting. Thanks.
I think I got their numbers. You want their numbers?
Yes.
So, hi everybody, I'm Jocelyn. I'm the director of the Women Project, and I just want to conclude our event. This has been incredible. There have been so many organizations that have come together and acted at the very last minute and made it work. It's an opportunity for us all to come together and even practice just what it's like to talk together. So I'm going to do the whole wrap up, but I'm going to do it by reading some papers, so bear with me. There are big challenges in our state, and justice is absolutely denied to so many folks. Many folks are struggling, and our elected officials can do something about it. That is what we are calling for. We're calling for justice. What are we calling for?
Justice!
Justice! We're calling for equality. We're calling for equity in our state. That's what tonight's about. Coming together as a strong force for positive change. There's specific policies that many of the groups here today are advocating for, but it's also about being a movement of principles and values, about leveraging our collective strength to make sure that no one's left behind and that lawmakers hear the stories and they actually respond to the needs of the people of Rhode Island. We need to reckon with these ways in which the systems in our state, from schools to hospitals to the halls of government, are not, hold on, for ourselves and our loved ones. We need to get rid of the barriers to the full range of health services we need to live with dignity, whether it's bans on health coverage for abortion, that take away the right for so many people and the limits, or the limits on prenatal and maternity care that make it difficult for people to have healthy pregnancies. We need the people who we elected to office and who are charged with advancing policy solutions to step up and do all that they can to ensure that we all can not only survive, but thrive here in Rhode Island and beyond. Thank you again to the many groups who are here today. Together, we are making a difference for our state and our communities. So I want to thank Greg from Amnesty. I want to thank Bella from Coyote. We want to thank the BLM PAC. We want to thank the House of Kodak, Charlotte here. We want to thank the Interfaith Coalition for Reducing Poverty. We want to thank the Latino Policy Institute. We want to thank Moms Demand Action. We want to thank Old Lesbians Organizing for Change. We want to thank Reclaim Rhode Island. We want to thank Jen and the Rhode Island Democratic Women's Caucus. We want to thank Rhode Island Now. We want to thank Rhode Island Rights. We want to thank South County Huddle. We want to thank the Women's Fund of Rhode Island. We want to thank Youth Pride, Inc. and so many other organizations that reached out and said they just couldn't do it this quick because they're all doing such other amazing work. The Women Project is so proud to work with y'all, and there are many challenges facing us in our state, but we call together on leadership of the General Assembly to come together to make a difference and make lives better for the people in our state. Thank you so much. Take it easy, and we look forward to seeing you up here next time.